It's been 20 years since Amazon launched its first cloud service. ChatGPT is barely 3 years old, and already almost all organizations use AI in at least one business function. It's a pace of change never seen before. We're here at the annual gathering in Davos to collect insights and ideas from CEOs from around the world. And today it's Simon Anderson, founder and CEO of Mission Cloud, a CDW company and AWS Premier Tier Partner. Simon, great to see you. Welcome to Davos.
Thank you, Andrew. It's amazing to be here.
Let's get started with talking about AI and the speed of this transformation that we're all seeing around us at the moment. What are the implications of that for you at Mission Cloud?
It is truly remarkable. 3 years since ChatGPT launched, which was really the beginning of AI in the modern sense. We'd been doing document processing and precursors to AI for some time, but in the public consciousness, 3 years and 80% of companies have now adopted AI. So it's unprecedented. Cloud took a lot longer than that to become very broadly adopted. I think what's driving a lot of that change is there's real value in AI. There's real commercial value. There's real personal value for all of those who use the AI tools out there, which we do. And so I think, my key message in this discussion is to fully embrace it, to understand it. There are plenty of use cases, as a company or as a educational institution that are very relevant, that can move your business forward. And I think that's what's driving the speed, is that there's very real outcomes, real business outcomes from adopting AI.
It's almost a mixture between obvious and essential to make that move.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the question that a lot of CEOs and leaders have right now is, where do I start? How do I adopt it? What are the types of use cases that really suit my particular industry or company?
CEOs will all across the world be thinking, right, how do we time this? How do we systematically embrace this new technology? What are the nettles they have to grasp to move forward?
The key thing is that what we really encourage is to really build and experiment quickly. So an AI project currently probably only takes like 4 to 6 weeks to go from just figuring out what the problem is and actually having a proof of concept that addresses that problem. So build fast, but then measure business outcomes. So it's very, once you know what the problem is that you're trying to solve, you've got to measure those outcomes and then scale what works. So one of the commentaries out there, which is interesting, and some data, was that 80% of AI projects don't go from prototype to production. Well, that's actually intentional because people are experimenting a lot with it. And the 20% that do go to production are actually very transformational for businesses.
And you've got the Amazon Web Service in the background as a kind of foundation of all this. Presumably there's leverage there. There's a way that can be used by people to move their own particular initiatives forward.
Absolutely, Andrew. And, AWS, as I said, has been around for 20 years. Incredible foundation as the leading cloud. So it deals with security, with governance. It has the foundation for the AI to run on. And that's the big difference, actually, is that cloud took quite a long time to be fully embraced because it was a really fundamental change in digital infrastructure. But AI is just layered on top of that, and so it can be built very fast. AWS has a range of services as well that you can choose from. And the key thing is for a leader is to understand, which layer to start at in terms of the choice of service. Do you really need to do custom development with your own data and training the model, or can you use an off-the-shelf model and a managed service like Amazon Bedrock for that purpose?
Simon, for those kind of lost a little bit in the concept, have you got any concrete examples you can give us today that clarify, just test cases, if you like, how this works?
Yes, so generative AI has been adopted most in coding, programming, marketing, so creating marketing content. You can now create a lot of content with a very small team, which is fantastic. And then customer support's another area that's very important. So for example, we've worked with companies that have cloud contact center like Amazon Connect. And in real time, that support agent will be surfaced through AI information about the customer, but also actually prompted to ask questions of the customer all in real time. That's a great example. In media and entertainment, we worked with a documentary film company that has 4,000 documentaries, all narrated in English. They wanted to have it narrated in different languages. We were able to do that translation into as many languages that they want very efficiently. So there's a lot of use cases that are around speed, like how do you do something much more quickly than you did before? How do you do it better than you did it before? And how you did it more efficiently than you did before.
And we're also finding, aren't we, Simon, like any gold rush, that new terminology is arriving, new things are being discovered, are being moved forward, and so there's almost a rush to stay on top of the developments in the technology as much as participate in it. Agentic AI, for example, tell us a bit about that. What are the implications of that?
So Agentic AI is the next evolution where it's really about AI that not only just gives you a response, but actually helps and makes decisions in an autonomous fashion. So think of it as self-driving cars, but for business processes. And so AI agents are being developed now with guardrails where they will actually take a number of steps and drive toward a solution with intelligent thought and decision making. And that's the next wave. It raises a lot of issues around, when should you let AI agents just do their work, and when should you have human intervention? And that's the hot topic at the moment.
Sounds like a lot of people with a lot of brains need to get cracking. Is there a problem with skills shortages on this?
Just like prior revolutions in technology, absolutely. And so it's also incumbent upon companies to really help train their teams. And at Mission, what we do is we obviously help companies to build and deploy AI chatbots, AI applications, now agentic AI as well as generative AI. But the key thing is we also train the companies and the teams on the use of it so that we can operate it with them. But there's absolutely a skills shortage at the moment that needs to be addressed.
I mean, is that so? CEOs might make decisions about where they want to base themselves, or how they want to hire people internationally, or strategies they might have. I mean, is it that intense?
It is, and I think the people first aspect of this is very important. I mean, it's not just a technology; it's really a transformation of how people work. So it's not only the engineers and so on that are actually using and deploying the AI, but it's also everyone in any business function needs to sort of relearn their workflows and how they're working. So it's going to take a big effort in education, in an intention around training and intention around transformation.
What's morale like at Mission Cloud? In other words, do people feel they're on the cusp of something new? Are your people very energized? Are you okay with your recruitment program?
Yes, morale is really good. Definitely people feel like we're helping companies to embrace this new technology and so on. Everyone's very busy because we have a lot of projects that we're working on. And just in the last few years, we've done hundreds of AI projects for customers in the US. But the morale is good. And from a recruiting perspective, you've got to have a good culture as well. So we've really established that over the last 7-8 years of operations where people really want to come and work with Mission, now a CDW company.
There's always a rush when there's a kind of a new technological revolution, whether it's from horse to motor car or telephone to smartphone. I think we're seeing a rush like that now, perhaps even an unprecedented one. Can the planet handle that kind of expansion, that sudden expansion?
That's an excellent question. I personally have, views on the environment and protecting the environment, and it's absolutely true that the power needs for AI are going to continue to increase. They're already significant around the world, so it's something that we need to work on together. There are a lot of people out there in the data center infrastructure industry that are working on new cooling technologies, new power technologies, and so on. Because in some ways, what happens with change like this is the demand actually drives supply. So the need for figuring out more efficient ways of operating data centers, the need for more power is driving supply.
Final thought then, Simon, who's going to make it best through this revolution? What are people going to have to do now to ensure that they thrive and survive in the years to come?
I think the key thing is, start with a very strong foundation. So The cloud, AWS, is that foundation. It's got security, it's got governance, it's all there. Your data can be secure, you can design your system. So the foundation is very important. And see that infrastructure as very strategic. Second, people. Train your teams, ensure that you have a good understanding, fully embrace AI. I think that's the main point, is that we know that there's concerns about AI, we know that there's environmental issues and so on, but as a business leader operating a business, I think it's really incumbent to say, look, this is a technology that's transforming a lot of businesses. The return is there in whether it's growth or efficiency and so on. So embrace it and help your people change along with it.
Simon, absolute pleasure. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Andrew.
We're learning that adoption alone isn't the goal. The organizations pulling ahead are those building fast on the AI cloud, measuring outcomes and scaling what works, transforming ambition into measurable business results. The leaders who master cloud transformation today are likely to be the ones who define what comes next.